From the city of Los Angeles. Let me clear my throat. It is your boy, Dwayne Cofield. It is January 17th. This is Drug Dealers to Businessmen podcast. This is the weekly tap in, and I'm tapping in. What's good, family? I know we're coming at you guys on a different day. Those who are listening on the podcast, thank you again for tapping in. We certainly appreciate you. Could not do it without you. Um, those who are watching on the live, those who are watching on YouTube, we appreciate you subscribing. Make sure you guys share with somebody who you think could use something of anything we talking about. Please share, man. So thank you so much, man. This episode is near and dear to me because it's something that I've always toyed with, right? I've always, I look at life in terms of observation and use life as a book of guidance, perhaps, right? So I pay attention to, the things that I encounter. One of those are mechanics. And I realized that, in life, we're our own mechanic. We diagnose ourselves. We do a few different things. So this episode is episode 9 of season 4. You are the mechanic of your life. And the reason why I say that is because we can fix ourselves, right? We can fix ourselves, or at least diagnose ourselves and figure out what some of the problems are. The challenge is most of the time we're spending our time diagnosing someone else, right? We always know that neighborhood mechanic know how to fix everybody else's shit, but his shit is always raggedy, right? We know that mechanic. Everybody has one in their neighborhood, right? And when you look at that mechanic, you're like, man, this cat knows how to do everything and knows how to do it fast. And that goes true with what we do in life, right? We're always quick to give somebody some advice, right? Especially relationship advice. Oh man, been there, done that, man. All you got to do is X, Y, Z. We go home to our own set of problems. Oh man, you in school? Okay, man, you need to do X, Y, Z. Well, why you ain't got your degree yet? Right? Because we're the hood mechanic. We all up in everybody else's mixes, but we don't have our shit together. Right? But the thing about it is, one of the things about being a mechanic, or at least a hood mechanic, is you have ability. Everybody looks at the hood mechanic and says, okay, man, you so damn good. How come you ain't working at Pep Boys? How come you ain't working at one of these shops running the show? Because there's some flaws involved, right? There's some things that are missing that are not necessarily directional on the surface that you can see. He looks like he has it all together. He or she looks like he has it all together. They can fix anything. They can come out there and change what's the water pump. They know hood mechanics are notorious for changing your water pump, right? And that's what we do. We quick to go change somebody's water pump, but we fail to diagnose our own problems. We fail and come up short when we look at ourselves and put ourselves on that little machine, right? It gives us the error codes. We never want to do that. We always doing it to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? But we never want to do it to ourselves. Appreciate that, Don. Salute on boy. But yeah, think about that, right? We always up in somebody else's mix, but we hard to self-diagnose and really look at ourselves as, hey man, what can I fix with me? Or what do I need, right? And sometimes, even when you look at yourself as being a mechanic, are we up to date on what we know how to fix? Right? I mean, most mechanics, the hood mechanics, the Chevy mechanic, they know how to do small block. That's just remember, because I've already dealt with these kind of cats. Well, what you got a small block Chevy? They get to talking that shit. Now we dealing with electrical cars. And if you one of them small black type or small block type mechanics, then you only gonna know small block shit or small block conversation. We're up to date now. So right, some things have changed, right? I'm teaching a consumer behavior class this semester. Matter of fact, too. And one of the things that always fascinates me about these classes is how we just dissect the entire process of consumption. From the time of exposure to even know a product exists to the time that you're actually throwing the shit in the trash. We talk about all that within. So what's going on, Samuel ATL in the building? Appreciate you, homeboy. But that's what I'm talking about with consumer behavior. So we're diagnosing things like that and really dissecting. So now I'm really looking at, and it may be the time or the stage in my life, but I'm looking at my life like, what do you need? Right? And I have to look at like, okay, I don't need this. I don't need this. And I do self-diagnose. I know my own mechanic. I know what I need. And if I'm not versed at it, I know other people that are, right? And that's the one thing about the difference between a really good mechanic and a hood mechanic is they know when to take it to somebody else who's an expert at it. Ad agencies, I talk about this in my class too. Most ad agencies that you see don't do the work. They farm it off to somebody else who's really, really good at that specific thing so that they can go do what it is they do. And I think that that's one of the things that we as as our own mechanics need to understand is that even if we self-diagnose and we understand, I know I'm fucked up in some kind of way, I know something's wrong, I know something's missing, at least we know where to go to get even better advice. And that's where sometimes I will say the hood mechanic does, and he puts it together and makes it happen. And it runs for a minute, but the shit won't pass smog, right? It does XYZ, but it won't do this, right? So you start to look at it and you're like, man, what do I need? What do I need to know in order to fix my issue? Or can I? So what I would start doing is I would start buying books. I would start trying to figure out what are my symptoms, right? So the first thing we do when we have like, okay, what are your symptoms? My car's knocking, engine's knocking, XYZ, and the same thing holds true in life. Okay, so what are your symptoms? I can't finish anything. I can't get my life together. I don't know what to do next, right? I don't know how to take the next step. I don't know how to go level up. Do you want to level up, right? A lot of times people always talk about taking the next phase or the next step. There's consequences and repercussions for that. There's also rewards for that as well. So are you willing to take the risk and you willing to do XYZ in order to achieve that? Because when we're self-diagnosing or looking at ourselves and saying, okay, well, what's missing or what do I need to do to make this a more complete picture? Oftentimes it's another step or it's something else as opposed to being in the moment and happy with what we have. That's what I had to learn, right? Being in the moment. What do they call it? Mindfulness, right? And that's something that we don't talk about enough is being in the moment. I have to tell my son that all the time. Stay in the moment. What's wrong right now? Nothing. Okay, well, stay here. When we start looking at other things and going to the left and to the right and going too far ahead or too far back, that's when the anxiety or the depression starts to kick in. If we stay in the moment and realize what treasures we have, which I'll keep repeating, man, we got mad treasures right now. And I've done an episode on this in the past where some things everybody's not going to recognize. They may be just for you, right? I got something came across my Facebook page that was talking about a Google a lesson for a class that I'm teaching. I'm like, this is perfect. And God's giving me these gifts, right? Sends me back upstairs so that I don't forget my wallet, even though I think I'm going for something else. That's how God works. He gives you the gifts in the moment. But we oftentimes we looking for the longer, we got to go down the road or we got to compare ourselves with this person and that person. Right. When we were talking about the food truck, right? Well, I'm looking at everybody got these big giant clowning food trucks. I'm like, man, first reaction is, oh shit. How am I gonna compete with this? Well, that may not be what you're gonna compete on. And I accepted. I said, you know what, we're gonna grow as we grow. And if God wants us to grow there, he'll go there. And now, lo and behold, there may be an opportunity for us to move that direction. We'll see. One of the things I said to myself, set our goals. I said, we building our corporate credit one step at a time. So I've been working on that, just building our credit up, adding more credit cards. That's another thing that you can do, homies. Build your corporate credit. It doesn't take much. You set up an LLC or something like that. You start to get these little small trade lines or single lines of credit, and you start to build from that point. Keep some money in the bank account, keep some transactions popping, and you'll start to see how that translates into something else. So I'm just kind of sharing with you some of the things that I had to self-diagnose myself with. Homie, you weren't good at this. You didn't manage this well. You weren't managing your corporate credit well. So now I'm on that, right? Been on that since that's one of my number one goals. Knock them down on New Year's. Man, didn't knock down no drink, no nothing. What's going on, Dame? Appreciate you tapping in. But that's what I did on New Year's. Wrote down my goals. That's my connection with the universe at that time. When everybody else is working on their liver, I'm working on my livelihood. Right. So I had to switch it up and change the game. Started that a few years back, got my wife involved. We make it a family affair. Right. But that was one of my goals is to clean your corporate credit up. Right. Next thing is this. The next thing is this. And you go down the list. And then you get up and you set your intentions on a day-to-day basis, man. The recipe, and it's reinforced when I keep hearing it. I run across people talking about intention. I run across people talking about goal setting. I run across people talking about vision boards. I'm like, man, I was on vision boards 10 years ago, right? Everybody thought I was nuts. I'm like, man, y'all ain't hearing me though. You got to see this stuff, man, and then write the mechanics on how you going to actually achieve it, or it's not happening. People are so quick to talk with that tongue and just slash and slander and dog their dreams out instead of talking in things of what they want. I know what I want. I want to get better at this. I want to take the GMAT and get a higher score so that I can get a better PhD program. I already had these goals already set. Want to set up our chicken spot so that blah 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 blah. Want to do X, Y, Z. And then I'm leaving those long-term goals out there so that I do my tactical stuff on a short-term basis, on a 3 to 4 months, on a daily, whatever the case may be. You got to get methodical about it, right? Because there are going to be so many distractions that are going to try to get you, right? Other mechanics trying to tell you that this is wrong with you. This is wrong with you. All you need is this. All you need to do is this. Can't nobody diagnose you the way you can. People can talk that. You can say, and it's good to seek professional help. I'm not saying that, but you better than anybody else, right? You know if you can make it, right? Well, them cars, like, I've been riding this bucket so long, I know when it hit the E, that really don't mean the E. I still got like 30 miles, right? You, you the same way. You know yourself the same exact way. I know I can do X, Y, Z. I know I have this in me. I know that this is a flaw. I know I'm not really organized, but that may be something else I can work on to supplement that flaw. That may be just something that you have to live with. I'm just not organized. Maybe I can learn a little bit from other people, or I can pay a little bit more attention to that, right? I'm trying to get more organized. I'm still a mess, right? Because I'm the first one to admit it. You can't lie to yourself. I'm a mess. So what? You know what I mean? There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people in similar situations, right? Similar diagnosis, right? So that's the main thing when we talk about, even tying it back to the lecture that I'm doing on consumer behavior, segmentation, right? We have certain things in common. One of the things in common is most of us came from the streets. When you coming from the streets, you dying and looking for love. I see some homies dying and looking for love to this day. When we go on Facebook, that's what we looking for. Give it to them, dog. Like and love somebody, pay attention to somebody. It ain't that hard. You got to be a hater to not pay attention to somebody, homie. It don't take that much, right? So let's at least do that. And in the process, we might even see what's wrong with us. Maybe we're weak in that area, right? Maybe we desire attention. Who knows, right? I tell you who does, we do. We've been dealing with ourselves sometimes 30, 40, 50 years. We know what's wrong with us. The main thing, and like I said with the game too, we know business. We just don't know the lingo. We don't know the language. We don't know how to actually put a term with it. We know we feeling anxious. We know we feel like it's trash every morning, but we don't realize that we dealing with lightweight depression. So there's some things that we need to really probably go check on. You know what I'm saying? But with everything so taboo, don't go see the doctor. Don't go see a therapist. Therapy, some real shit. Therapy will help you. When I was going through my most difficult times, I went and saw 2 or 3 therapists. Still have some on my Facebook page that I follow. Because if it gets to that point again in my life, I will go see him again. Because that's when you taking it from, hey, you know what? I kind of know what's going on, to maybe I need some help, somebody to really. And my first therapist taught me how to breathe. All she did, she lived up in Beverly Hills, was tight. She lived way at the top. This older lady, her husband was like connected to UCLA. I don't know how I got tied up with this lady. I have no idea. But anyways, the pad was dope, and she used to have me come out to the pool house, and she would just have me sit there and just breathe, right? Meditate and breathe. And all I did was work on my breathing the entire time because I was working at a high stressful job. People was playing games. So my graduate school teacher told me to quit and go see a cardiologist, because that's how bad it was where I was working. It was just turmoil. It was just people cutting each other's throat. It was just teams. It wasn't the type of environment that was conducive to my health, to having good health. So sometimes you got to fix your environment as well, right? I'll give you a case in point. Used to live up in Victorville, and we used to do a lot of running back and forth to LA and San Diego all the time. And there's a big giant hill on there that you got to go up. And you keep going that direction. Our brakes, I would always need brakes on all my cars. And I'm like, well, I always need brakes. And I'm like, because you keep going up this big ass hill and going down this big ass hill. And that's just lighting your brakes up. Been in LA all this time, barely needed brakes. You know what I'm saying? I barely need anything because it's not harsh conditions. So sometimes, no matter how good you running, you got it. Your environment ain't going. It's going to have you burnt out. You know what I mean? I always tell people, I'm like, man, you could say what you want about people and money, but who happy? That's the thing. Like, man, money, man, it's cool. You got to have it. I ain't saying that. But you gotta have something called purpose in life, man. That really keep your engine going. That's what really put the gas in your car, is that purpose. Like, what am I doing, homie? What am I actually out here doing? Am I changing lives? Because I mean, when I get to the gay guy, I'm like, well, what's happening? What you been up to? Oh man, I just sat there and complained the whole time. He goes like, for real? I heard you complain, but you didn't do nothing else when I was, when I nah, man, I just complained and talked and really didn't really move on nothing. And you're gonna be like, man, this other cat's gonna be in there, you know what I mean? That's gonna look at you like, man, I got a accident, homie. When I was like 13, I could have took your years and worked them. Just think about that, right? Just think about you wasting your time with things that don't matter, people that don't matter. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying throw people away or throw moments away. Everybody has their own value, but you know who's good for your health and who's not. You know whether your car can go through the desert or not. Like, oh man, I'm gonna slide to you. No, man, don't do that. Your engine, your radiator gonna blow up. Right? So you gotta know what it since we talking mechanic talk, you gotta know what your car can do and what you shouldn't be, who you shouldn't have in your car. Shouldn't be racing. Oh man, let's race. Man, my car I ain't built for that. Right? You know who you are. I ain't nah. You can y'all can go ahead. Well, put the boo woo woo wham in the nah. I'm gonna be low key because you know why? I don't want any attention on me. I've had the attention on me, man, and I'm lucky I escaped that shit. Like other cats didn't get, I went to jail on some other shit. It wasn't that, you know what I'm saying? So that's different, you know what I mean? And I learned, man, want no parts. You won't even see me jaywalking. Like real talk, like man, nah, because I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I know what track I'm supposed to be on, and it ain't that one. So I see homies. I'm like, man, that look good on you. Right? That's man. Ooh, that's clowning on you. Not this one. I don't want that. I want to be known for my academic prowess. Is that how you say it? Prowess. I think it's prowess. So I'm working on that too, my English. So I'm trying to read more. I read every single day, like 30 minutes a day. I'm trying to get better at that. I want to get up earlier in the morning and go do exercise before I start my day. Charge this day, go at it full throttle at the neck with the day. Because I know there's people that could have been here that looking at us like, man, what y'all doing? Especially our ancestors, like, man, what y'all doing? Are we chilling now? Or we ain't busting nothing down? We ain't opening no business, none of that? Or we just gonna sit there and watch and talk about it, right? When it doesn't take much to do it, right? It takes a few clicks and a belief. Everything that you need, you already have, or God's got it's on its way to you. And what he don't give you, it come with extras too, in the wrong way. That's why you ain't got it. So if you ever wondering like why this won't connect, why this won't pop, no, it's not going to. It's not for you. Why would he do you like that? He knows what's good for you, and sometimes the things that are even good for you are going to be hard to get. I know this restaurant is good for us, man. We got the gizzards. We got We just introduced a chicken sandwich. I know this is what it is. Can't tell me nothing else. But he gonna give it to me when we mentally ready. And when we attract it, right? When it's not something that's forced on anybody. When it comes to you, because things are magnetic, right? You attract things. It's not like you got to go out there hunting. That's why cats, man, I'm going out here chasing this bread. I'm attracting it. We doing two different things, homie. You know what I'm saying? It's coming to me out of nowhere. I don't know how it's coming. Meanwhile, you could chase it and see how long that goes on, because that works for some people. I'm gonna go out here and chase the bread. I'm gonna go out here and create it, right? Me and God finna sit here and come on an idea, and it's gonna produce. Thought about that this weekend. We sold some chicken this weekend. I said this was an idea based on a bad experience at another restaurant. And voila. You know what I'm saying? That's how God works, man. We ain't done in the miracle era. That's not over with. So that's why I'm like, man, try something. You think something tickling your gut, something sitting down deep inside of you that you want to try, run it by somebody who's intelligent. Google, way more game than anybody you probably gonna know. So run it by Google. There's probably a million other people had the same idea, and there's probably other people that are talking on that same chat, rather than run it by your group who don't like you anyways. That's the thing I had to come to terms. They don't like you, and they just can't stop messing with you. That's cool. I know how God works. I'm not tripping off of that. If I was, it wouldn't be God like it. It'd be ego driven, which is by this fool. So I'm not tripping. I don't care if they like it. Like, man, get the message, dog. Don't trip off of me. I'm not who I'm a conduit. Don't That's why you don't hear me talk too much about I'll talk about my experiences, but humility is what we on right now. This is God's work, dog. You feel me? Appreciate that, Tanisha. So that's what we're working on at this point. But we ain't scared, right? So we trying different things. Failing, willing to fail, willing to fail fast, right? Willing to at least try it. That's the thing about, like I said, we tried the chicken sandwich. Somebody saw me at my son's school, was like, "Hey man, I want to try your chicken sandwich." I saw it on Instagram. All with an idea. Like, man, I could make a better chicken sandwich than these cats. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't like this. Let me make one that I would like. And I think some other people. And that's it. You go get the stuff and you just start walking like Denzel. You guys gonna keep hearing me use that example. You put your shades on and walk, right? Occasionally you might get your Kodak Black on and spin, you know what I mean? But walk, walk, you know what I mean? You gotta, you know what I mean? Keep walking. And then, if God tell you to spin and spin, but continue to walk west. Just know you're going in the right direction. And everything on that path is supposed to be there, including the obstacles. So that ain't no sweet pass. You ever heard of one? Nah. Because if it did happen that way, it's not a story. I mean, we all stories, right? We all individual miracles, right? And inspiration for others. Soon as we realize our power, most of us don't realize our power. We keep giving it to somebody else. Here, man, take my shit, dog. Here, you want my power? You can have it, man. You want it? You sure? I don't know if I got any more, but you can have mine. Like, quit giving people your power, dog. Can't control me with a incident. I was listening to a book. I'm on this one called Limitless, right? And one of the jewels that he dropped today was be careful how you start your day and how you come across your phone. He said because one one email, one text message can shift the entire mood of your whole day. And he's not. I've been there. Well, my manager's like, man, this punk ass K. He emails me first thing in the morning. Like he sent it last night, but timed it to hit me at 6. This mental stuff that they used to do, man. My shout out to my man. They was all good, but they used to do some stuff, man. But nonetheless, threw me off. Boom, got me mad. Now I'm chippy with my wife, and she chippy with the kids, and it just spins out of effect. You know what I mean? All started with that one suggestion, right? We know how the enemy works, man. He's a subtle ass cat. Subtle. He hits you with a little boop, little cut, slap, man, because we're not expecting it, right? And if we run into it first thing in the morning, that's why you got to center yourself first thing in the morning, whatever it takes. My mom does meditation. I write in my intention book. I tell people my most productive times between 8 and 11. Leave me alone. Period. You know what I'm saying? Don't start talking to me. Don't. I mean, I'm cool. I'm cordial and all, but that's my most productive time, and we need to understand that. Superheroes, we are. We got superpowers. What are those? That's what we need to discover when we self-diagnose ourselves, right? Some of us have superchargers, some of us has old motors, some of us have hybrids, some of us are electric now, right? I consider myself more of an electric now, man. Some cats are Chevys, right? And they still, we race. But if you race an electric car, you know what time it is. Some be like, oh man, yeah, all right, whatever. But anyways, some of us are at different stages in that process, and we have to understand and respect that we were there at one point in time as well. So I don't come and pontificate and put myself in a higher position and speak like I'm speaking down to you. You need to, man, I'm still a mess, dog. I'm still work in progress, still trying to figure it out. I'm still a student. I'm still a novice at a lot of things, right? I'm not even proficient at writing yet, right? Even speaking, I'm trying to get better. But the one thing, like an alcoholic, is I'm admitting that I have a problem. That's the only way that I can fix it. Most of us won't admit that we ghetto. Man, I'm ghetto as a mo. Why won't we say why don't we just, you know what I'm saying? Because the only way we can really rectify the situation is admitting it. I need to, man. You know what? Well, okay. I need to do this. And I don't talk about exercise anymore, man, because that's just I'm not even talking about it. I'm just what's the next move? What we doing next? What I'm doing tomorrow? It's just part of my routine. It's nothing even that's just me right now. I'm not talking about a lot of anything. Only time I come and talk is really on here. But other than that, I'm moving. I'm showing better than I can tell, right? I'm trying to go experience it so that I can talk. I forest bathe now. A lot of people ain't hip to that. Going out and smelling the stuff, right? Going out walking after it rains, smelling that whatever it is with the earth and the soil, that stuff has healing properties. I promise you it does. Make you feel amazing, right? Just smelling different things. And this is a different form of dealing with it, right? We have to figure out therapies, and therapy, oftentimes we can't afford it, and nobody wants to take pills. So go walk in some trees. Go walk in a park, right? Not a bear park, but a park that has big, lush, smelly trees. Watch your mood change. I promise you. Go to botanical garden. All these things are different, and I know I'm stretching people. Like, oh man, yeah, yeah. You can find time. You'll find time. I tell you what, if you were sitting there on a stretcher, you'd be like, man, I'll do it. You got any trees? Right? You'd be trying to find some shit to smell by whatever ever mean any means necessary. But why not get ahead of the game right now, right? Trying to figure out things. And that's why I said I'm open to whatever. I want to look at things, man, not have a myopic mindset. A lot of people that I know, they don't think they can change. Oh man, I always been like this. Oh man, I hate school. You haven't found anything that you like learning about, or you haven't made it interesting. That's it. Who doesn't like to learn, right? That's just like saying as you're a baby, man, I don't even feel like walking, man. I don't and who want to learn how to walk? Really? You know what I mean? That when somebody tells me that, I'm just like, man, I don't believe them. Oh, I'm not a reader. Yes, you are. You just you haven't had something interesting enough to read, and you haven't been put in a circumstance to where you had to read. That was your only form of entertainment. You'll become you be like, man, I love these romance novels. Yeah, I bet you do. Right? Um, Tanisha said, I don't have it all figured out, but I do know God is talking to me tough, and I'm really trying to find my real purpose. That's it. And just keep your ears open. He will guide you. I promise you that he will guide you. Just keep your ears open, but understand that as you start to get closer to God and you start to understand what he has destined for you, the enemies, he's so far. He ain't worried about the cats that's close to him. He worried about the cats that's crossing over. Like, man, you getting closer to God? Oh, you about to know what's really it? Let me throw these fireballs at you. So the fireballs increase as he knows you getting closer to God. They're gonna get bigger, better, more fantastic. People gonna start changing. It's just it comes with the territory. It comes with the territory. Criticism. I've had the closest people, some of my closest homeboys criticize me on this. Now, I had one homeboy who called me and told me why. This is why you need to woo woo. It wasn't even criticism. It was advice. And I took his advice and I learned ever since. And he'd tell you right now, ever since then, I ain't missed that beat. Because that's what happens though. But you got to understand, why are you doing this? You doing it to satisfy them? I had to tell my wife this weekend, I said, one of the mistakes that people make in business is they rely on families and friends. And I said, it's not even the fact that family and friends don't want to support you. Sometimes they may not have the means. Sometimes they like to go where they like to go because they feel like a big shot, or they may be a star in that situation. You don't know why. But the worst thing you can do is put that kind of pressure on your friends and family that they have to support you. They may think your idea is whack anyway. So what? I'm not building this for you. Not yeah, my aunt, I mean, that'd be cool. I'm glad y'all, yeah. Oh, we proud of you. That's cool. But I'm not building it for them. I'm building it for you, whoever you are. I'm talking to you. One of them cats is trying to figure it out and knows, okay, I know I ain't I know I need to be doing X, Y, Z. Similar to my situation, right? What do I need to learn? I'm an avid learner. I figured out that I'm a nerd. Love learning. A lot of cats probably figure that out too about themselves. And the older you get, the more comfortable you are. You ain't trying to impress nobody, especially young cat. Yeah, man, I ain't trying to impress, man. Go on, homie. I've done that. I'm not even. I remember them old cats that, and they weren't old, but they just be like, they didn't have nothing to prove. They was just, the way they move was just different. You like, man, I know you had it. I can just tell by the way you get in. Like, yeah, and they got a plumbing truck, and they whoopty wham. They still know, such and such, but those kind of cats. But I'm not like, I don't want to know. I don't want to be in that business. I'm not in that business. Not even interested. It gave me the game that I have today. Don't get me wrong, but it was a treacherous. It wasn't as sweet as people think it is. You know what I'm saying? Um, but I'm cool. I'm still here. I'm standing now. I'm trying to give out advice on how to get better. But you're gonna go through some storms. I promise you that. As you proceed towards your dreams and goals, you will go through some storms. But at the same time, God's gonna roll out his blessings at the same time. So you just got to figure out what to pay attention to, like when I talk about the park. There's gifts and blessings on both sides of the fence. Don't get caught looking over here like, damn, this is all messed up. But look at the blessings. I'm out here able to wiggle. I saw a video from that dude Wallow when he was 2 weeks out the pen, and he had done 20 years. You got it now. Talking to a cat 2 weeks out the pen after doing 20 years, they got a completely different perspective on life. They are like, man, are you kidding me? Refrigerator, the action. I can go to the store, buy me a drink. Yes, that, that's appreciation. That is appreciation. And sometimes we need to recognize that about ourselves, right? Our lives. We look at our cars, we look at our same thing, man. I got my Camry. I'm still driving a 2012 Camry. Love it. And not interested. I'm not even like, oh man, I'm cool. And it gets me there. It's nice. It's AC works, heated seats work. I just need to replace it a little bit of interior, but everything works. And the beautiful part about it, there's no other cost that comes with that car. Completely paid off. And I remember I had that car repo. It just took me through the ringer. But the more and more I appreciated what I had, the better it did me. And the more we appreciate life, the vehicle that we're in, our body, this is our vehicle, right? When I talk about being a mechanic of our life, this is our vehicle. Do we appreciate it? Do we say thank you? God, man, love my stuff. Shirley Ralph said that the other day, right? She was on the awards. Didn't she say something like that? Love your lips? Because Kardashians are paying thousands for them. You gotta love on you, homie. You gotta appreciate the car. You gotta say, man, it might be old, homie, but it gets me to and from. It might not have a super sport, but it gets me to and from. I still can get on the freeway and do 75. And we both gonna get to Vegas. You may get there a little bit earlier than me, but we both going to Vegas. So that's the thing, man. The vehicles, man, as long as it runs, as long as it's you getting up and you can start every morning, that's it. You winning. When it doesn't start, you got a problem. You got a different kind of problem. But if it gets up, starts, serves you every day, serve others, right? And whatever gift capacity you can. I ain't saying spend no money. Be a blessing. You could pray for another. That's enough. That's all I ask people for. I'm like, man, don't buy me no gift, man. I'm hard to buy gifts for. But I'll take a prayer, though, all day. Pray for your boy, please. Because I'm asking God for a lot, and you should be too. What you asking for lately? Just to make it, man, just get me home. That's all you gonna ask him for? You can't think of nothing more deep. Damn, just get me to the house. Just let me make it through the night. Man, come on, man. God, like, come on, man. Really? That's it? That's all you got? Okay, so I'll be just give me just let me make it through the night. I promise I'll be good. Okay, man. Damn, you easy. Oh my God. What do I want? Oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? I need this, I need this, I need this so I can do this. And then once I do this, it can do XYZ. So I got a lot I'm asking for God from. But I'm asking for opportunity and blessings all the time. So that's what I'm saying. Ask him for more. Yeah, you can upgrade your vehicle at any time. He can upgrade you at any time. But what you doing for yourself? How you taking care of your car? You putting the right oil in there? You going on your routine maintenance? You making sure you doing checkups? Because we don't check up on ourselves. We always check up on somebody else. They always tell people that, oh, go check up on your strong ones. Shit, check up on yourself. You check up on other people, but you got to make sure you cool. You know what I mean? Just like on the airplanes, right? They don't say, man, make sure your kid's cool. They like, man, put that shit around your neck first so that you can save their life. Right? And that's the thing. Same thing, right? We got to make sure that our vehicle vessel is up to par. We can't be giving out no advice and become the hood mechanic on other people if our stuff isn't together. And how do we do that? One step at a time. You start with doing an assessment, right? One of the things that I'm adding to my goal things is a review. How did I do? Did I come close to things, right? What did I miss? Where's an opportunity to do improve this X, Y, Z? And I always, man, we got business goals, we have personal goals, we have family goals. One of the things that I'm doing now more is as priority is leisure time. Not giving this man. I'm not I can do all that later, but the leisure time, that's getting the priority right now, bro. And that's because I see people all the time sacrificing. And it's what makes you whole. Rest. I heard somebody, oh man, I'm operating on 4 hours, dog. Man, if accumulate that, yeah, okay, well, you're missing a pretty good chunk of sleep. So I get my time to sleep, right? I spend time with my kids. We have a whole episode on designing your life, but you got to be intentional about that. You know, I'm moving towards the paid to think category, not to do. Why? Because I'm getting older. I'm not trying to go out there and learn how to use a jackhammer now. I know how to use one. I'm just saying I'm moving towards the you're paid to think, not do. Now this is by design. So what do you have to do now? You have to do the work on thinking. So you're gonna have to do a lot of work. You're gonna have to do a lot of this. You're gonna have to do a lot of learning. It's not gonna stop. You'll be learning forever. You'll be reading and learning forever. Is that okay with you? That is fine. As long as I can play golf. Right? As long as I have time to think. Because that's my best asset is my brain. Period. And a lot of people neglect that. They're like, oh man, I'm good with my hands. Man, you better be good with both. Your brain is telling your hands what to do. So technically, if you're good with your hands, you're good with your brain. You just got to flip the script. But I hear that a lot. Oh man, I'm good with my hand. Nah, homie. You good with that brain. Your brain telling everything how to go. And your brain telling your heart how to move, the whole shebizang. I'm telling you, man, I'm absorbing information left and right. It's just coming from everywhere. And the more I request it, the more I desire it, the more my intentions are to learn, the more God gives me opportunities to learn new words, new opportunity. It's crazy. So ask for it. I want to get smart. I want to build my vocabulary. I keep saying it, and God keeps giving me new words. My son, I do this thing with him at night. These GMAT words, and I learn the words with him. This is supposed to be my practice, and he's learning GMAT words, but it helps them sleep. Both my kids like when I do it. I put him to sleep. I had this word, and he's got to guess what the meaning is out of all these answers. So he sits on top of his bunk, and I'm down there at the bottom with my daughter, and I have it on my phone, and he's looking down and he's guessing the words. And meanwhile, I'm absorbing it as well. Right. So it's a win-win situation. And I promise you, God will give it to you. I spent a lot of time on Khan's Academy, right? I'm going through algebra. I got to go through the whole progression again. It's been a minute. But that's when I self-diagnosis and you slipping on algebra. You need to go from algebra to linear algebra to pre-calculus. Okay, that's going to take some time, but this is what I have to do. Diagnosing yourself, you're going to need a new engine. A word. So I can't, you can either rebuild this one, you can buy a new one, or you can buy and use one. Here's the pros and cons to each one of these decisions right here. Which one to do? And that's the same way that we have to do it with ourselves. We have to self-diagnose ourselves and figure out what's the missing pieces. What do I need to do? I need a rear end. I need tires. What do I need? Okay, you need, yeah, you need a lot. Okay, well, let me do one line item at a time then. Let me start here. Let me change my oil. Right? Let me start with the basics. Um, yeah, you don't, and the thing about it is, the thing about using your mind is, you know, it's going to get you to everything you get, but you need to understand how to think, right? You need to understand that you need quiet, right? You may need places to think. You can't have noise and people. A lot of times when you're around hood people, they think that they got to fill the the air with just common talk. And sometimes you may be thinking, you may be reading, you may be like when I'm on my phone, it looks like I'm on, sometimes it looks like, and I may be on TikTok, but a lot of times I'm reading PDFs, right? I have books on my phone. I have a Kindle, I have a Pearson for my textbook. So I'm looking at everything on my phone. So I'm sitting there reading. And some people may think you're just bored looking at your phone, like I need to talk. And that's not the case a lot. So you need to understand that you need space to think. You need time to think. You can't be so exhausted that you don't have time to figure out what your next play is. Most people are stuck on the same play and they wonder why it's 4th and 20 all the time. You keep running the same play. Try some other shit. You know what I mean? Throw the ball, dog. Something. You know what I mean? But don't sit there. Change the space, change the game. And I started, like I said, before I moved to LA, I came out here a lot. Period. I made my way down, boom, boom, just city to city, and just kept scooting, scooting and scooting. It's part of the play the entire time, right? It was the play the entire time. So you can do it too. It was hard as I don't know what it still is, but I love every bit of it. And not the fact of the goal, but it was going through the motions to get here. It was the journey that was the most pleasing to me. Just like the when we drive, right? It's not the destination. It's the what we see on the way, right? The stops that we make. Once we get there, like, whatever. We'd rather be at the house sometimes. But that's it. That we have to self-diagnose ourselves. We have to understand what we're working with. We have to understand what we're missing. Because a lot of times it's just a matter of us applying ourselves and saying, okay, I know I need to do X, Y, Z. Why am I not doing it? If it's a financial situation, then how do I fix this? We know there's a problem. How do I fix it? Do I need to get another job? Do I need to make more money at the current job? Okay, well, how can I do that? Oh, well, you got to get another degree. Okay, so how long is it going to take me to get another degree? And how do I get that? Okay, well, you got to go to the such and such. You got to go to the community college. You got to sign up. Okay, well, where do I do that? When's the sign up day? And this is literally the mental tug of war that you're gonna go through. You should, or the mental progression you're gonna go through to get there. Okay, the sign up date is, and you basically just gave yourself all the steps. So the first thing I need to do is sign up. Yeah, sign up. Next thing I need to do is pick a class. Class, yes, you need to pick a class. How do I pay for the class? Let me find out if my job has anything. Let me find out if there's any other money available for me to take this class. Let me find out when the class is available. Okay, let me find out if I got a babysitter for the kids or I got somebody to watch the kids during this time. And you'll start to see the thing just slowly but surely unfold. It is crazy. The next thing, that's how it really started. What else? Me and my relative took 2 classes at the college. And I was like, man, I just kept going. The next thing you know, okay, well, I actually like school. I'm actually okay at this stuff. I'm actually okay. Well, I actually like business. Okay, well, I'm actually pretty good at it. Okay, well, let me try this. Okay, well, let me try this. And it just keeps going. It takes one step, one drop, one drop accumulated over time becomes a river. One step accumulated over time becomes a marathon. You don't stop. What you stopping for? You can stop and if there's a detour, bus a left or right, but shit, you got to keep running. You got to keep going. Period. That will conclude our weekly tap in for this week. I certainly appreciate you guys. I got a few new books that I would love to share with you. That I'm reading right now. A couple I finished. I finished Think Again, which was great. Gave basically what it really boiled down to just changing our group think like thought process, right? If we always think a certain way, we'll always get the same results. And but it was cool. It was cool. Let me pull this up for you guys. All I'm doing, if you see me typing, I'm just pulling it up so that you guys can see it. Um, but I got one new one that I'm kind of digging. He has a YouTube channel as well as Jim Quick. He talks about how to speed read. So trying to get better at that as well. So I take you guys with me, man. I try to as much as I can on whatever type of journey I'm on. Right. So that's where my true value comes in, and it gives me great deal of pride to um, share these things. Right. I feel real accomplished about them. I love my book list. I think it's important. So I don't know if I showed you guys the Vibrate Higher. She's a sister from LA. This is really good. It's short and sweet, but it's really, really good. So the Vibrate Higher Daily, I would really suggest. It's dope. I'm listening to the 40. I finished the Vibrate Higher daily. It wasn't that long. You see, I only got 3 minutes left. The 48 Laws of Power are good. Some of the stuff is a little bit crafty. It's in prison. It's a prison book. It's really popular in prison for obvious reasons. People want power in that situation. So, but there are some good things that you can use in business as well. It's really designed for business. But this is the book right here, Limitless by Jim Quick. He really breaks down the brain and how it works and just the operational portions of it, and also how to, at least where I am so far, he's getting to the point to where he's talking about how to retain and read at a faster and higher level. This is the second time that I ran across him. The other person who suggested it, I was at the Getty, me and my son, and we ran across a neurosurgeon, and she recommended Jim Quick. She was like, he's really dope. So yeah, those are my suggestions right there. I also finished this book. Really good as well. This is Allison Jefferson's book, Living the California Dream. If anybody follows me on Facebook, you guys will see I just went to Belmont Park, which is in Santa Monica. There was a whole neighborhood. If you guys are ever in the area of 4th and Olympic in the LA area, go by Belmont Park. It's a treasure. It's a history lesson. It's a whole like lap you can walk around and check that out. So yeah, man, My academic is coming out of me, so I'm trying to get better at that. Even calling myself an academic is something different, right? So dare to be different, call yourself something different. Don't be the same person all the time. And I'm tapping out, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.